So I was sitting here thinking about the fact that I tell you guys to thrift all the time, and that I think that thrifting is just like the best. And I haven't ever given you any sort of reason or look into how thrifted items look in my house and like how long I hold on to stuff. So today we're going to talk about 10 plus things that I've had for 10 plus years. Yeah. All this low buy lifestyle stuff, all this thrifting nonsense is new. It's just a trend. It's not going to stick around. False. I'm here not only to preach the good word about using what you have and holding on to it for dear life, but also I am here to show you how I not only talk the talk, but I walk the walk. Because being thrifty is not new. And I want to give you an idea of how these things can live multiple lives throughout the time that you have them, which is hopefully as long as humanly possible. So let's dive in. Rocking chair. This rocking chair has been in my mother's life since she was a small child. I don't know where it came from before that. My son likes to sit in it. My cat likes to sit in it. I like to sit in it and read books. It is solid. It ain't going anywhere. Having it in my son's room was so special, knowing its family history. I mean, a classic rocking chair, oh my God, what's even cuter? It's now in my living room just because we put a bunch of toys in Emmett's room. And I love sitting in it and reading at the end of the day. I don't get too comfortable and fall asleep. It also doesn't take up a lot of space. It's kind of like a minimal, perfect chair. You can see through it. It doesn't take up a bunch of room. There's only the one solid piece. It's great. I would 10 out of 10 recommend finding yourself a secondhand one of these guys instead of like a fancy glider if you are in the process of hanging out in a nursery. It may not be as comfortable as a glider, but I can guarantee you're not going to want that glider in your living room after your baby has kicked it out of its room. And also like check out my baby must-have list if you're new here, or if you are prepping and are in that stage of your life. Congratulations. Bed frames. So 2 of the bed frames that are in our home are ancient. Bed in our guest room is a metal, solid, wrought iron bed that my parents bought for me when I was 13 years old, and they had redone my room. It was very cool. I remember going to the iron bed off of 85, it is no longer there, and picking it out. There was a lot of trust that happened on my parents' end. It's the bed I took with me to my first apartment when I moved out of my parents' house. It was the first bed that my husband and I slept in for many years, and it's a perfect guest bed. I really love it. Nothing is wrong with it. Why would I get rid of it? Also, bed frames were expensive. And the bed frame in my son's room was my mother's bed when she was single. It was my parents' first bed. It's a full, by the way. Yikes. And it was in my room, in my nursery, when I was a little kid, when I was first born. And I slept in it for many years until I turned 13. Then my brother slept in this bed frame. And then it came into our house when my parents moved because I knew that I wanted to put it in my son's room when I had children. It's been a great extra bed for when we've had additional guests, when we've had a full house. And my dad remade some rails for it that I had very similar to it when I was little. And now Emmett will be able to sleep in it really easily. I'm thrilled. It's been painted and had many iterations, but it's just a good, easy wood bed. I had it forever. It was stored in a crawl space for very, very many years, but thank goodness we stored it properly. Lamps! Oh my God, the amount of lamps that you need in your life nowadays is crazy. I have a lamp that we've called the pineapple lamp, and I've had it for as long as I can remember. I don't know, I think I bought it for my dorm room when I went to college in 2010. I think I got it from like a Marshall's or a TJ Maxx. It's had a couple of different lampshades, but the lamp is great. I actually don't think I've ever replaced the light bulb now that I'm thinking about it. Is it ultra practical because of the size of the base? No, but it makes a great living room lamp. It's a talking piece. It's interesting. I don't need a ton of the tabletop space around it. It's lived so many lives and been styled in so many different ways. I can see it in my dorm room. I can see it in my apartment. I can see it in our first home. I can obviously know where it is now, and it's so special to see it in all of these different iterations. And I've also like literally never seen another one like it. Unique, y'all. And lamps are so freaking expensive. Have you guys looked at how much a lamp costs at Target? This is not a disposable item that you need to replace every single time you decorate. The teal lamp has been repaired so many times. I think it originally was not a lamp. It was my mom's. She is the one who painted it teal to make it look like rusted copper. Kind of feels like copper too. I mean, it's not, but it's very cool. I took it to get repaired, and the guy who repaired it called me and said, "Hey, I found some wood nails inside of this. I didn't want to take them out in case it was like an heirloom and someone had repaired it that you loved and done this repair. And I was like, no, feel free to take out the wood nails out of my lamp. So I don't even know its full history. It also has had a couple different lampshades. Great floor lamp. Yet again, lamps are expensive. I'm gonna hold on to them for as long as I can. It's like a little wobbly, but like it stands in a corner. No one's touching it. It's fine. Also, the lamp on my desk was left in our house when we bought it. So obviously staying. Solid brass lamp. And then I got another one from my grandmother when she downsized her apartment. Another fantastic brass lamp. Are we joking? The lamps in the guest room were my mom's. And I remember them in their home, like on their nightstands when I was a kid. The lamp in Emmett's room is secondhand from one of my cousins who didn't want it anymore. So I guess like I think I've only purchased like 2 lamps for my house. The lamp on the bar was my mom's. Yeah, I think I've purchased 1 lamp. Okay, the dresser in our guest room. So I remember buying this dresser as a recent, probably college grad. Yeah, because I don't think I had it in college. So me and my mom went down to Scott's Antiques Market. Don't worry. I will go. I will take you with me. It is a joy. It's beautiful. We'll go. Don't worry if you've never been. If you have been, you know the pleasure. There was a guy out with a tent full of dressers that he had refabbed. So it is like an antique dresser that's been like painted and worn to look shabby chic. Sure, fine. I was looking for a dresser. I didn't want to just go to IKEA. So we went to Scott's. I saw this tent. I was like, let's go. We went in. My mom helped me pick out one that she knew was solid, wasn't just like a cheap flip. And I remember writing an actual check for this piece of furniture from my own checking account. I was like, this is the most money I've ever spent on basically anything. And so I still have it to this day. So this is like just barely 10 years old, but still, it's not going anywhere. It is a solid piece of furniture. It's super unique. It's super cool. It's got these like curved drawers in it. It's been used for all sorts of things. My clothes, my husband's clothes, storage for American Girl doll stuff. If you don't know about that, then you need to go watch my American Girl declutter video. It might get used for clothes again one day, but for now, it's just a really great piece for our guest room that guests can use or not. We can use it for storage. Who doesn't need more storage? I'm not getting rid of it. I love it. Mirrors. So in my house, we have a couple of mirrors. The wall mirror in the guest room has been in my parents' house for as long as I can remember. I don't even know where it came from. I love having it in my place just because it's like an old door kind of. I don't know, but it's way too heavy to be a door. I don't know what its original life was, but I am so happy that I've been able to give it such a loving home. It's a perfect little guest mirror for people to check themselves before they go out the door. The mirror in my entryway came from my parents' house. I don't know if it's over 10 years old, but I feel like they had it in their house for a long time. And then the mirror in our bedroom was my husband's. It's from IKEA, but he had it long before we got together, and we've been together 10 years. Mirrors are not necessarily expensive, but mirror frame styles change constantly. Do we remember the hellscape that was basically spray foam around a mirror with spray paint on top of it? What? So, my advice to you for mirrors, if you're shopping for mirrors and want to keep them for over 10 years, get something with a simple frame. Get something with a frame that's not going to go out of style in the next 5 minutes. Then you'll have your mirror forever. They don't stop working unless you break them. So you can have them for eternity if you want. Tables. Have I ever purchased a new table? So the white metal nightstand was an antique that was in my parents' house forever and ever, amen. It's been in my possession since I was in college. It was one of the things that came with me into my dorm rooms. Both nightstands in the guest room came out of my mom's house, were there for a long time. The nightstand in Emmett's room was Dan's before we got together, and it has lived many lives of storage use. Yet again, tables can be restyled and used in different ways in different parts of your house. So just because you decide that you need to redo your bedroom doesn't mean you need to buy 2 new nightstands. Nightstands are crazy expensive. Like if you go on Wayfair like a normal person, or you go on like Amazon and try to buy like nightstands, they're so expensive. They do not need to be creative. Use something that's not necessarily considered a nightstand as a nightstand. And they don't stop working. Yet again, like mirrors, they are tables. There's no planned obsolescence in a table. And what I love about nightstands and tables is that they have a huge impact when you move them into a new room and give them a different role to play. So Emmett's nightstand, for example, was in our sunroom. We were just using it for storage. It was like a whatever table. And then all of a sudden I was like, you know what? This would probably look really great in Emmett's room and fit right under the window. We put it in there and I was in love. I was like, I can't believe I even thought about getting rid of this. How dare myself? And the ones in the guest room, I don't mind that they don't match. They're not the same nightstand. Life is too short to worry about matching nightstands. Do I have matching nightstands in my primary bedroom? Yes, I do. But I actually bought them on Marketplace. And what was funny was I liked them so much and I was like, oh my gosh, they're so cute. Let me message the seller. Realized the seller was a friend of mine. And so I got to go hang out with Juan, pick up my nightstands from his house, and now they are next to my bed. And they look mid-century, they match our bed beautifully, they look really great with the new sconces, like secondhand everything, y'all, let's be real. Board games. Okay, so some of these have my maiden last name written on them in my mother's handwriting because we used to take these to elementary school for board game day. So way longer than 10 years. The fact that all of the pieces like still exist in some of these is incredible. And it's so special to have like my son play Connect 4 with me on my set of Connect 4. That I played on as a kid. And super special mention for my great-grandfather's chess set that I have been deemed the caretaker of. And it has the original price sticker on it still. I learned to play chess on this set. Hopefully my son will learn how to play chess on this set. Dan and I will sometimes pull it out and play against each other. And being actually able to still play with these like hand-hewn wood pieces is such a tactile and beautiful experience for me. And I can't wait to share that with my son. Okay, our guest TV is over 10 years old. How do I know this? Because this TV was in my husband's apartment, in his bedroom, when we first started dating. And there were many a day, cool afternoon, nowhere to be, nothing to do, where we would sit and watch Game of Thrones on that television for days at a time. Nothing's wrong with it. Now, we don't have it hooked up to like a streaming service. We just have it hooked up to like a Chromecast. So any of our guests in the guest room can just like pull up their Netflix account and cast it to the TV. It's fantastic. Picture's fine. We don't need anything bigger. We don't need it hooked up to a cable box. We don't need it hooked up to the internet. We don't need it to do any of that. All it needs to be is a place where guests can watch whatever they would normally be watching on their phones, but on a little bit of a bigger screen. It's not fancy, which is probably why it still works. Now, electronics can be hard, right? Planned obsolescence is actually making me want to die. I've had my phone since 2018, and it's just now starting to be like, nah, girl, we're not gonna let you take pictures, which is obviously a problem for me. I get it. You want to get the latest model in order to like get the longest lifespan out of it. But my rule of thumb for electronics, and I'm talking everything from refrigerators to a watch to a phone to a TV, is the simpler the better. The less small weird parts that break, the more likely you're going to be able to use the device for over its projected lifespan. Art. Okay, so this is tough because I know it takes time to collect art, but I can proudly say that all of my art has come from original sources and no big box stores. So my mom is an artist. She has painted a handful of the paintings in my home. I went to art school, and some of the pieces in our living room are from people I knew who I specifically asked for these pieces and paid them for them, obviously. Some of them I painted. Some of them are photographs that I took. The thing above my desk in my office is a painting that hung over my grandparents' couch in their den from the time I was little. My art in my home represents little remnants of the people or the places that I was when I got them. I've had many of them given to me. I've known most of the artists, and I've got my eye on a couple of artists that I would like to purchase and support. For now, I'm gonna keep my old stuff and love it and continue to add to the collection. Just moral of the story, don't buy art from IKEA, okay? Thrift it. Thank you. Books. I own more books than I think I own of literally any other object in my home. And I love selling my books and decluttering my books. I do like every once in a while to acquire a new book. I only bought 4 books last year as a diehard reader. That's saying something. But there are a handful of books that I keep going back to that I've had for years and years and years. No matter how many times I clear off my bookshelves and reorganize and declutter my books. I have my original HP series. I have my series of Unfortunate Events series. My mom's copy of Alas Babylon, one of my favorite books. My high school copy of Wuthering Heights, as well as my high school copy of Tess of the D'Urbervilles. Their Eyes Were Watching God. There are a couple of them from high school that I still have and will read over and over again. Yeah, I've got lots of old books that I've had for over 10 years, but also books that I bought vintage or secondhand. So like, I'm just looking at them here. There are a lot, just a lot. There's literally no reason to buy new books. There just isn't. Buy them secondhand and then hold on to them. So that's 10 things, kind of way more than 10 things, but those are 10 like categories of things that I've had for over 10 years. Now, bonus! Did you know you were getting a bonus today? No? You're welcome. So some stuff has not necessarily been in my house for 10 years, but it is over 10 years old, and it will remain being cared for here in my home for the next 10 plus years. So here are some of the honorable mentions in that category. My china cabinet and the dishes that are inside of it. So the china cabinet was my husband's grandmother's, maybe great-grandmother's. We got it out of his grandmother's basement. Super vintage. It's got my grandmother's champagne glasses in it, along with my other grandmother's little fancy, beautiful plates. It's got a couple of things from both of our extended families that we keep safe and we would like to pass down as heirlooms. If Emmett is interested, if not, he can sell them, make some money. And the great thing is, all of these things are things I use regularly. So like the china cabinet doesn't just remain closed and dusted every once in a while. I'm using those things regularly. So anything that like I can't use, I usually just don't hold on to, or I don't accept in the first place. So like when our grandparents were all kind of decluttering, we only took things that we knew that we would use and honor the memory of the person who gave them to us. I'm not ultra precious about these things. They're meant to be used. That's what brings the loved ones that gave them to us back to me. So my grandma's couch and her dining room set. So grandma's couch. This couch was in my grandmother's house ever since I can remember. In the front den, it had plastic on it for many years. I was not allowed to really sit on it. At Christmas, like if you were lucky, like the adults mostly got to sit on the couches, the kids had to sit on the floor. And when she downsized, no one wanted it. And I was like, it's a great couch. It's a great reminder. Is it like the perfect fabric for my life? No, but I'd rather get it recovered and save the resources of making a whole new couch. And I get a piece that reminds me of her. The dining room table, same kind of story. I actually really like the dining room table. I think it's not necessarily super vintage. I think she got it in like the 90s, but I remember eating so many grilled cheese sandwiches and apples at this table in these chairs. And it's so special for me to be able to sit in it. Yet again, I'm probably not as precious with it as I could be, but I love the fact that we all get to sit around and eat at it every night. When I asked my dad like when she got it, he was like, oh yeah, that's the new table. I was like, what does new mean? He's like, oh, maybe 30 years ago. I get my holding on to things and using them for as long as I possibly can, I guess, from my grandmother. It fits so much better in our dining room than our old one did. Candlesticks. I seem to be collecting candlesticks. I have never purchased any, but I've been given so many in the last year from relatives, and I think that's really cool. My aunt's mother-in-law like had a handful, and I thought some of them were cool, so I took some of those and put them on my mantle with a set of pewter ones that my mom let me take when I set up my own house that I just always remembered her having around. I got another little silver one from my aunt's mother-in-law. They're multiplying. But they're all vintage, and I think they kind of look really cool on my mantle. So if I am gonna have a piece that's strictly decorative, but also still has utilitarian use, I like that it's something that's so small and that I've gotten secondhand and that are kind of weird family heirlooms. And then maybe I'll throw a party where like I put all of them on the table and we have like a cool centerpiece of candlesticks. I don't know, like it's an idea. I'm getting ideas. The last bonus is Christmas decor. I have not purchased Christmas decor in years. Me and my husband, when we first started dating, used to exchange ornaments every year. So that was like our Christmas gift to each other. So I do have a couple from like the late teens that like we went on a cruise in 2019. So I got him a little boat. All of my Christmas decor is hand-me-down. So like my little Christmas village that my parents bought in the 90s from Toys R Us that I love putting up every year. The original lights are long gone, but I put in different twinkle lights and I have all the little people and I love setting it up. It's so fun. I still have the original box and everything. And I still declutter Christmas decorations. I was pretty ruthless this past year where anything that I didn't want to put on the tree this year was pretty much gone. I got rid of a lot of Christmas tree balls because I'm more interested in like the other types of ornaments. I have a couple of sets of pretty Christmas ornament balls, but most of our ornaments are family things that I loved and remembered and held on to. And I've got to make room for all the ugly Christmas ornaments my son will be making in the next handful of years. And I understand, if you're just starting out and you're just setting up house and you need some Christmas decorations, try to steal stuff from family. But also shop secondhand, especially this time of year in the beginning of the year, right after the holidays. Everybody else has decluttered their Christmas stuff. See if you can go find some cute Christmas ornaments or some throw pillows or something that you're looking for, some hand towels. So there you have it. Poof. That living a thrifty lifestyle has a long-term trajectory as long as you commit to it. And it works for more than just right now. Even the stuff I got when I was in college, the things that I got that a lot of people just get as like throwaway items, things they don't expect to have for the rest of their lives, I still have because I took the time to be conscious about the decision I was making. I'm even more so now. I would say back then I wasn't like super on the minimal train, but I didn't have the money to be playing around, you know, decking out my dorm room from Target and throwing it away the next year. Underconsumption is cool, but it's not a trend. Owning things for a long time is the norm for the majority of human history. This disposable nonsense of throwing stuff away is the trend. Stay classy, stay timeless, and build a collection of lifetime goods that will last a lifetime. I'm here for you if you need any additional encouragement. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Okay, bye!